So Christy, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. So I am born and raised in Colorado. Grew up there, hanging out with cats and dogs my whole life since day one. Went to undergrad at Northwestern in Chicago and ended up going into finance out of school honestly, because it seemed hard and because it would pay the bills. And so I ended up at BlackRock here in New York on the insurance team of all teams, and really had no idea what I was getting myself into, and then very quickly realized that I love insurance against all odds. I spent 6.5 years working there, working with insurance companies, mostly on the investment side of things, managing assets on their balance sheets. And I figured that it was time to figure out what was next. And so went to business school from there to Harvard Business School in 2016. And that's when I started Wagmo.
Well, that's great. So was it post graduate school that's when Wagmo got started?
Yeah, so it was actually in the middle of business school, somewhere between the years.
Mm-hmm.
I was exploring kind of a tangentially related insurtech idea. And my dog that I had at the time, whose name was Denver, got very sick. He developed this like inoperable brain tumor all of a sudden and was having these grand mal seizures that were increasing in frequency, middle of the night every time. Super horrifying and scary stuff. I don't know if you've ever seen that happen, but very quickly was thrown into just how challenging and traumatizing and frankly expensive pet parenting really is. I mean, I grew up with pets, but he was the first dog that I was like financially responsible for. And so got to experience firsthand just what that means at the extreme. Thankfully I had pet insurance throughout all of this. As an insurance person, I'm very well insured. So I did get to see the value of pet insurance, but I also saw some real opportunity for ways that this product could be improved. So after all of this, I started really digging into the market, exploring what the options were, first as a pet parent, and then also sort of with my business school MBA brain in, thinking about what opportunities were here, and quickly realized that there's honestly some insane macro trends that are serving as real tailwinds for this industry. And of all the times, now is the time to do it. I mean, pets are increasingly treated like children. People think of their pets like children. It's increasingly more expensive to take care of them. The standard of care is really being elevated, and yet pet insurance just hasn't really caught up. So, figured I was looking for something to do. I genuinely love insurance, and I'm sincerely obsessed with my dog. And so
a nice combination then.
Pet insurance seemed like the thing to do,
There you go. So with that, you've made real progress on the wellness side, and you're now launching insurance, and you're also in a number of employee benefit programs, which is very exciting. So what are your ambitions, or how do you think about the future of Wagmo?
Yeah, I think like my broad vision for the company is to really turn Wagmo into the one insurance company that people truly love. Pet insurance of all things has a real opportunity to be a meaningful product and make a difference in people's lives on a routine basis. And if you think about, pets represent the most joyful moments in our lives. I mean, mine certainly does. Mm-hmm. And there's no reason why pet insurance should detract from that. It should be additive. So sort of at a high level, what we're trying to do is build a company that's more than just an insurance company. We want to be a partner in people's journeys through pet parenting from day one all the way through end of life care. So tactically on a day-to-day basis, in a business basis, what that looks like for us is tapping into unique distribution models through employee benefits plans, employee perks programs, partnership distribution through other insurance companies, other pet-related companies, and then also layering on a true sense of community and value beyond just helping people pay for things. So, giving them access to exclusive discounts, partnership opportunities with other cool pet brands like toys, dog training, all the stuff that really helps you be a better pet parent, from that very first moment.
That's nice. A good holistic view of how to be a good pet parent, and
Yeah,
how Wagmo can grow from that. That's great.
exactly.
So we've worked together for a little while now, about a year, and just curious how Vestigo has been helpful or not to the company.
I'm gonna make you blush here, but I truly am shocked at how helpful and supportive you guys have been. I've been witness to some very fraught founder investor relationships recently, and every day I talk to my friends and my partner, and I'm just so honestly grateful to be working with you guys. Just the level of integrity is like nothing I would have expected. I genuinely feel like you have my best interest and the company's best interest in mind, which makes dealing with hard stuff even easier, and good stuff, it's a delight. So, from a high level, 5 stars. On a tactical level, also super helpful. I mean, for some examples, you guys have made introductions for us to some really strong connections within the employee benefits realm. You've made connections to other potential distribution partners within the insurance realm. You've also connected us with insurtech and fintech companies that are sort of navigating similar challenges as we are, which has been super helpful just to hear and connect with people in the same boat. And then, of course, leveraging the data and the work that Fraser's been able to help us in terms of using some keyword searches and optimizing SEO with all of your awesome data. That's helpful on a regular basis as well. But truly grateful to have you guys on board here.
Thanks. That's really great. And can you tell us a little bit how you started Acorn Finance?
Yeah, absolutely. So after about, I would say 15 or so years in general lending, I moved to a very niche lending within the home improvement space. Improvement is $400 billion industry. Everything that you do to your house in the US, be it roofs and interior, exterior remodeling and landscaping. And so the use case is, let's say you want to fix a heater, you expect it to be $500. You call a contractor, and then the contractor is like, listen, Mark, it's too old. It's 12 years old. You need to replace it, and it's going to cost you 12 grand. And 2/3 of Americans, unfortunately, don't have $500 to $1,000 to meet emergency expenses. So the contractor would pull out an app, and then you will fill an application form and get a loan. And that's kind of the traditional model. And contractors who leverage financing solutions can generate 30% more revenue. However, in the US, only about 10 to 15% of contractors are using this model. The reason being that it is borrowed from an old car dealer model or a furniture store model where you have one lender associated to kind of one contractor. So consequently, the contractors have to apply for it. Most of them don't want to, and they're also very fragmented furniture store. So that's one. And number two is it costs them fees. Currently, it costs them anywhere between 5 to 15% to leverage one of these solutions. So I started the company 3 years back to do two things. Number one, get contractors out of the equation as much as possible. Number two, make it 100% free for them. And number three is, instead of this three-party convoluted model, keep it direct between the lender and the contractor. And the way I approached this is I took the evolving marketplace approach and created a marketplace meets point of sale. So think of us as Orbitz meets point of sale. So banks are going marketplaces just like airlines and hotels did. So, and that technology is evolving and is getting more and more mature. So we created a point of sale solution for contractors leveraging that technology.
That's great. And what are your ambitions for the company or some of your near-term goals?
Yeah, so in the near term, as I said, home improvement is a huge space. So currently only about, about 10 to 15% of contractors are using it. So first of all, we want to kind of, and what happens is, especially if you think about home improvement, there are a lot of up and coming contractors that actually the the contractor community is kind of older. It's kind of aging out. A lot of up-and-coming contractors want to really set up their business, and they don't have the ability to leverage these traditional solutions. So we want to kind of help them out and grow with that contractor base. And number two is over the last, again, 5 to 10 years, a lot of property technology companies that are consolidated these contractors with SaaS-based solutions, including CRM and estimation solutions. So instead of going and trying to find each and every contractor, the second opportunity that we are working on is integrating with these SaaS-based platforms, just like kind of a firm or any other point of sale solution would do, but in a kind of a marketplace approach. The third thing is there are, as we scale, there are other verticals that we can look beyond home improvement, including, retail, elective, healthcare, and also things like legal expenses and things like that. So that's the third one. And finally, this is a global problem, especially, European Union has passed guidelines on, open banking. We're actually talking to a home improvement company that is based in Australia and New Zealand, wants to grow here. So we have the opportunity, as we build technology for them here, we can actually target some of those other markets as well, and they're in the UK as well.
Good. And how has Vestigo been able to be helpful to you as we've gotten started in our relationship?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Vestigo is our lead investor. And so besides capital, two really big ways, I would say. Number one is, you guys are operators first and then investors. And that has been very helpful, especially as COVID hit, because, we and my team, we're in the weeds. As soon as that hit, we were like, should we solve for revenue or should we, solve for our vision? What should we do? And I'll be honest, we were a little bit distracted and, we're trying to figure out what should we do. And, we had, the Vestigo team spent a ton of time with us. You guys were extremely generous with your time and really helped us. We had, several weekly meetings. And I think the big thing that came out of that is, keep focus on the vision. The home improvement space actually, hasn't changed much. And we kept focus on the vision. We kept building a product. We integrated with a few technology firms. And what ended up happening was actually home improvement did extremely well, in the last 2 to 3 months because, people have more dollars in their pocket because of government stimulus, et cetera. And then there's not a lot of avenues to spend. So they've ended up spending on their homes because they're stuck at home. So might as well, that's been great. So that was really helpful. Just really focusing on kind of the operational side. Vestigo really helped us, bring that focus as well as bring knowledge from other players. Number two, I would say is just opening doors. You guys are, well connected within kind of the fintech world, and so and especially fintech and prop tech are. It's interesting, as the school of thought that pretty much all companies are fintech, right? Airbnb is a fintech company because it has global. The same thing with in prop tech. Pretty much everybody's trying to solve the payments and the lending problem. And then, so we were really surprised as you guys were able to open doors within kind of the prop tech community with companies like EverCommerce and stuff. And that has been extremely helpful. So thank you.
Great. Well, thank you. We appreciate the partnership.
Yeah.